Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what I got for you is a clip that I want to show. And then I keep coming back to Black single mothers because they really are failing us in the community, failing the children. And the children are literally the future generations. And it's just really appalling. I'm going to share a clip. Shout out to brother Dennis Sperling, aka the Blizzard King. He shared this on his Instagram. So I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to share my screen really quickly. I'm gonna let the video run twice for you guys, and just we're gonna cook this. Okay, here we go.
That's funny. Okay, do this. Ah! You look sickening, darling. Do you want to see it? Okay, look at yourself. Oh my days. I can get inside. It looks pretty nice. Thank you, Jessie. You're welcome. Do you like it? Okay, cool. But yeah, continue. That's funny. Okay, do this. Ah! You look sickening, darling. Do you want to see it? Okay, look at yourself. Oh my days. I can get inside. It looks pretty nice. Thank you, Jessie. You're welcome. Do you like it? Okay, cool. But yeah, continue.
So I'm gonna stop sharing that. Problematic. All the way around, that's problematic. First of all, this is a young boy. It's a young little boy. Let's absorb that for a moment. She's sitting there putting a full face of makeup, badly, I might add, on a little boy. She's making the face of her young son like a girl. Okay? Before we get into the many issues that this displays, first we have to note the emotional immaturity here. She's doing the very same thing that a 5 to 8-year-old little girl would be doing with her baby dolls, okay? Or would be doing to her sibling, her younger sibling. You got a 7-year-old that's doing it to a 3-year-old or something, okay? A little bitty girl might end up trying to play in some makeup because she's a little girl and she's playing in makeup because she's a kid and she wants to play in makeup. Playing in makeup just to see playing in makeup just because, right? That's something little girls typically do. Little girls typically do this. Little girls typically do this. Not grown women. This is supposedly a grown woman that has way too much time on her hands to be playing in makeup with what we presume to be her son, and the bed ain't even made in the back. The background, the bed is not even made. Have anybody even washed their face and brushed their teeth at this point? If the bed ain't made, that's something you do when you get up in the morning. Before you get your day started, you make your bed. Bed nasty all day, bed just unmade all day, and you got time to be sitting on the floor next to the unmade bed, making your child face up like a girl badly. Just playing it. What are you doing all that? What's wrong with you? The child is not her toy, but single mothers like to believe that their child is a toy. Too many times these single mothers believe that the children that they birth are just playthings, and that what they say to the child, what they do to the child, what they do and say around the child actually doesn't have an effect on the child at all, that they can do and say things around the child without no consequence for the child. They do not regard children as individual people who develop their own perception and experience of things. Like the kid is blank, like an automaton or something. That's what a lot of Black mothers, single mothers, think about their kids. That they don't take into consideration that the child is a developing, separate, individual human being with the capacity to perceive and the capacity to make judgments, even if they don't express those judgments about what's going on, about their environment and the people in it and the experiences that they are having, which are a lot of times contrary to the experience that the single mother thinks the child is having, okay, or projects that the child should be having, okay? They only think of children as living objects that the woman owns, that she can do with as she pleases. This is a lot of times when you hear the reasoning for a lot of single Black mothers saying why they wanted to be single mothers, because I want to raise a child how I want to. That got a lot of implications into it. That is not an innocent statement. That is a statement laced with a lot of negativity and a lot of demon time and a lot of danger and a lot of abuse. I want to do what I want to do with this child, and I don't want nobody coming in to check me on how I'm interacting with this child. I want to be able to do whatever I perceive that I want to do with this child without nobody checking me and without nobody setting a boundary that I'm not going to set. Right? This is the precise reason why they don't like fathers around, because a father is actually going to prevent them from abusing or otherwise engaging in inappropriate behavior with these children, which they like to do. They twerk on them. They have sexual inappropriate moments with the kid. They do stuff like this, make up the kid. She's going to expect this little boy to grow up without any identity issues. She's going to expect this boy to grow up without any issues with his sexuality, without any issues surrounding his masculinity. She's going to expect this little boy to grow up without any psychological drawback from this type of behavior, because they think that what they do don't have no consequences. They do stuff in a vacuum. And because they want to do it, that's all the justification that she needs in order to do what she want to do. Well, I wanted to do it, so that makes it okay for her to do that. That's excusable because she wanted to do it. And that should be enough. So from the level of comfortability that this woman displayed, she looks like she do this type of stuff often, holding him as a captive audience and then pretending that he enjoys this, or what's even more likely is that she does it so much that it's normalized to him and a part of him does enjoy it, just like any other kind of abuse. If you do it to a child long enough, the child will come to identify with that abuse and with the abuser. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. And they will start to enjoy. Some part of them will still hate it, but some part of them will enjoy it or look for this type of abuse, especially if it's sexual. Okay? Single mothers fail their children, which, like we said, are the future generations of the community, by choosing to do away with a father's influence, to completely make the man absent, to completely make him irrelevant in the child's life and in their upbringing, so that the child isn't able to identify with their father or with masculinity. The father is an integral part of the child's upbringing, as he brings a balance and puts a stop to the inappropriate interaction between these hyenas and their children. Okay? Let's just call a spade, because what's underneath that, and not saying this particular video, but what's underneath it, because I saw a video of a woman twerking on a little bitty baby, just twerking on him. See, what this gives rise to is the undercurrent, that subculture of Black women especially a lot of these Black single mothers actually sexually abusing their kids and sexualizing their children, particularly their little boys. They do it to the girls too, but they sexualize their kids. And that's a subculture that don't nobody want to talk about. The sexual abuse that she visits upon her children. Because see, these hyenas do not understand boundaries. They don't have no boundaries. They don't set none, and they're going to cross any boundaries that are presented to them. They like having children around without the father, and they like having children around becoming mothers over and above becoming wives because they don't like boundaries, and they don't understand any boundaries, and they don't like any boundaries. And because they're going to cross them anyway, children can't set boundaries for them. Because they're the adult, they're responsible for the setting of boundaries. Children are not. And children don't know how to set boundaries anyways. So whatever you normalize for a kid, that's what's normalized for them. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever situation, it's the adults. It is the adult's responsibility to create the foundation and set the circumstances and set the foundation of the relationship between themselves and their child. The child can't do it. The child can't do this. This is the adult's decision to do. This is their job to do. And a lot of these single mothers fail right there because they set such an inappropriate foundation for them, such a dysfunctional foundation for them upon which all other dysfunctions are built. This is why they like having children, but they don't like being with the men, because the men actually bring some type of order, put some type of stop to things when they get too out of hand. So the woman has at least up to 18 years to abuse, to neglect, and to normalize dysfunctional behavior for her children. You understand? And for the child, it's gonna take most of their life first to identify the dysfunctions, if they can, if they even get to a point in their life where they understand that what happened to them was actually dysfunctional and actually wasn't no good. They're gonna have to go through life and realize that the stuff that they was taught and the things that they took as normal actually aren't. The things that they think that they're supposed to do are actually dysfunctional. It's not functional, not healthy. Because of the unhealthy way in which they were raised and the unhealthy mindset with which they were raised. Then, if they can identify the dysfunction anyway, they gotta overcome the dysfunction, and that takes years as well. It takes therapy, it takes all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, they probably messing up their life, messing up in decisions, messing up their relationships, and going through trauma on top of trauma because they don't understand things like boundaries and all that kind of stuff, because the very foundation they were given in their formative years is dysfunctional and leads to more dysfunction, right? So it's gonna take most of their life to identify the dysfunction, overcome the dysfunction. That is the essence of a single mother putting her child behind the 8 ball. In this way, she resets the next generation, puts them behind the 8 ball consistently, which is why we as a group can't move ahead at all. We running in place, we stand stagnant. And the celebration of single mother culture has almost single-handedly doomed the entire community, but they keep doing it anyway because they enjoy the chaos that ensues because of the things that they do. They don't want a check. They don't want the order of men. They don't want it. They say they want men, but they don't want men. They want simps and people that they can control and manipulate. They don't want men, which is why they run men away. And they sabotage relationships with men, and they sabotage relationships with the fathers of the children and run him off. This is one reason, no wonder why men are no longer freely giving away their seed. I definitely encourage Black men to no longer freely, willy-nilly give your seed away to these hyenas, because these hyenas do everything they can to ruin what could be the legacy of the fathers and the future of the Black community. They ruin them. They do everything they can to set it back. They do everything they can to set it back, and it's a shame. It's an absolute shame. So that's what I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. The next thing I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is you can jump down in the description box and hit the link to crimsoncure.com in order to get your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, which is on sale now. Also, it is on sale at Amazon. So if you prefer the digital copy, you can go to Amazon and make a purchase. And if you make a purchase on Amazon, please do me a super big favor and leave a review if you can as well. Also, jump down in the comment section and let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.